frustrated. These disabilities make you feel frustrated because you lose your independence, and I'm a very independent person. I hate going on buses. You look well to other passengers, but you know you can't do the things, you can't move as quickly, and a lot of the people might not understand that. Sometimes I felt like having a label saying I've got a stroke, I can't move. I used to get very unhappy that this has happened. I used to cry a lot, depressed, angry, but then you can't blame anyone, so you just get on with it. That's my attitude. The feelings have changed over time by learning to accept that you've got this disability, by accepting that it may not be forever, it might not be 100%, but at least you're out there doing what you like. And as far as, I don't dwell on unhappiness or depression, it just takes you down. So I think of it positive aspect, not the negative. A lot of the emotions that were like you'd cry or laugh at the wrong inappropriate moments, they're more controlled now. Before any sad movies, you'll bawl your eyes out or laugh at the wrong time, but now you come to grips with it and you're managing it. You come to the senses, I suppose you could say.
Well, after the stroke, I was in the hospital, and then I was in the rehabilitation ward. At first, I thought that I will gain back my movements, but after some time, I thought that there will be some impaired, and I have to accept it. And since I had a stroke, I did not go to work, and it makes me very lonely. And also, I all depend on my caregiver a lot because I don't have any family except my wife. We are only two of us in here, and I depend on her. And sometimes her emotions and my moods is just fighting each other. So I was quite unsettled and emotional. And also, and I did not know that there was a depression on me. I could not sleep, and I could not sleep for about 2 or 3 weeks. So I was so tired, but I could not sleep. And even though I lying on the bed, the whole night I was awoke. So, but actually, I did not know that I had a depression until one day, and I thought that it's the end of the world for me. So I tried to harm myself, and then I was admitted to the hospital again, and then they put me in the psychiatric ward, and then I stayed there for 2 months, and I was given pills and also psychiatric doctors and looking after me. And then I was discharged. Since I had tried to harm myself, but after doing that, I found that I have to be practical, since I could not get back the previous self as before. I have to adapt it, and now, whenever I think that I was unhappy, and I think that I will try to remember the previous experience I had, and I know that it was a very foolish thing to harm myself. So I pick up myself, and I do not do any foolish thing again.
When my doctor told me it was a stroke, I was thinking, no, not a stroke. I was a little frightened, because I thought, is something after, I'm at the hospital, is something after this going to happen? Am I going to get worse? But I knew I was in the best place because, I had the doctors attending to me and looking after me. I was a little frightened. I was unsure. I was thinking, a stroke has got something to do with the heart. I understood, a stroke, you should be physically disabled and paralysed. So I was a little frightened. I felt like I wasn't normal like I used to be, and at times I used to get really angry because I get frustrated because I couldn't do certain things. I couldn't be in certain situations, like being around a lot of people. That was a problem for me when I first came out of hospital. I didn't know how to handle it. It just seemed very stressful to me, just having a lot of people around, whether it be at home or be out in the community or just out shopping. And I'd want to run away and just sort of go and hide in a room and be by myself and have some quiet time. But I found in doing that it actually helped. But dealing with these feelings, all I did was I just dealt with them every day. I kept myself aware of them and thought, okay, this has happened because you've had a stroke. But I always knew that they get better and better. And if I put myself in that situation, they're bound to get better. And that's what I did. So to overcome my unhappiness, I just accepted where I was, and just to do what I could and just do the best I could where I was at. And I found that as I did that, I overcome these different feelings of, fear, unhappiness, depression. And it's really just accepting where you're at and just doing what you can and just doing it bit by bit. Having good people around you, encouraging yourself, being positive, being determined, that all helps overcoming these things.
I just felt, can't be, I've heard it happen to other people, but happening to me, fully fit man. And then I had to sort of, face the music, it is the stroke I've got, deal with it, as good as I can. I was still thinking, what's happened to me, I can't believe it. I mean, I had no feeling, no movement, and I couldn't move the leg, couldn't move my arm, couldn't talk. I was actually bedridden, I had to be lifted to here, there, and even the little things that I could do before, it's just new to me, I couldn't even do it. Well, when the stroke hit me, actually during the stroke, it took quite a toll on the family, because I used to have a good, I've been at, where I was working, I was there for 10 years at bus driving, you see. And I've made a lot of friends on the buses, a lot of passengers know me and by name, first name. And even my workmates and they couldn't believe that's the George they knew before, But when they came in to visit me at hospital, they said, I couldn't even talk, and they sort of broke out, broke down themselves when I should be the one breaking down. But they just couldn't believe what they saw, My family, they've been with me right since the stroke. Well, they always do, but they can't believe too that my son had to help me have a shower, and all that. I was also feeling really depressed because I couldn't do some of the things I wanted to do, and there was a certain part where I didn't want to be alive, It really got to you. And I thought, no, if you believe in yourself, because we all go to church and all my kids, and I said, no, that's weak, piking out like that, eh? Get into it and persevere and do your exercise, praise to the Lord and all that, and then you'll get rewarded, but it's no good being down, because you're just going to make yourself go down as well, and your exercise and everything, The best to think positive and do those exercises. Go in there, say you can do it. I can reach that other end and I can come back again. Like I go around the house and I walk back around again, and the family, yeah, Dad, that's the way. Carry on, keep going. And sometimes they push me, and I still go until I'm really tired, and then I felt I've done a good day's work, that sort of thing. Yeah, they come around quite often. These are workmates, they're not like when they've seen you good and then they've seen you dead, sort of thing. They still think of me as, 100% fit, even though I'm like this, they come around, talk, and then still carry on, as if nothing's happened, that's what makes me feel good. I'm still dead. Even though what's happened to me, that's not going to stop me being, normal again. And that's what I feel has happened to me. I'm walking around now. Before I was bedridden, but I feel, if anyone wants to get better, is to think positive and, don't rely on cry on the next person's shoulder, just try and cheer them up as well by you doing the right thing,
When I first arrived at hospital, I seemed to be on a cloud or not with it, and just sort of lay back waiting to see what was going to happen next. I sort of recall they asking me if I could feel my feet at some stage. I'm not sure when it was. But otherwise I was just taking it all in my stride, and I wasn't worried about the stroke or anything. But I was a bit concerned about my dribbling. I seemed to be dribbling all the time. That was my biggest worry at that stage.
I don't think I felt anything at all after the stroke. But I have lived my life as I see it, perfectly happy. Try to crack a funny every now and then, but continually I'm always looking for ways to improve it, my life. I can improve the speaking. Where I couldn't speak at all, now I'm speaking much better. Each day I go along, I can look back and think of something I've learnt, of something I've improved on. There's nothing can interfere with that.